Hey everyone, this is Champion 2D Rob back again with another video, guys, and happy new year to everyone watching. This is my first video of 2025. How's everybody doing? Yeah, so basically this is going to be the pickups that I sort of acquired sort of around Christmas time, sort of late December, and some early January editions as well. I had some games turn up from those long time pre-orders from VIDEOGAMES, and also I'm going to be showcasing some Blu-rays that I picked up as well. I haven't done a Blu-ray pickups video in a long time. I've actually got a lot to show when it comes to Blu-rays that I picked up throughout last year. I haven't done any videos on it, and I've got some really cool stuff. I'm not going to show that in this video, but in this one I'll just show you the Blu-rays that I picked up sort of around December time, particularly around Christmas. So before we get into the games, I'm going to start with the Blu-rays themselves. Now the first thing I picked up, and this is a movie that I really do enjoy, and it's one that I've seen for a long time now. It's a Van Damme movie, and it's quite an underrated film. I don't think this film gets the love it deserves, and the film I'm talking about is Sudden Death. So if you don't know, this is basically Jean-Claude Van Damme's Die Hard film. This is a film where it's basically Die Hard, but set around an ice hockey rink. And he basically plays a fire marshal for the ice hockey rink, and he discovers that a bunch of terrorists have taken over the sort of main box and have planted bombs all over the stadium. And the whole film takes place while there's a game going on. So you've got hundreds of people watching the game, and while he's running around taking out bad guys and trying to disarm the bombs. It's a really cool film, and I definitely recommend people check it out. Sudden Death is a really good film, and I believe it was one of, I'd probably say this is probably one of Van Damme's last sort of really good movies. But in terms of it being a Die Hard clone, it's a very good one. I think it definitely doesn't get spoken about as much. I think it's pretty forgotten by a lot of people, but I think it's definitely worth a watch if you do, of course, enjoy Die Hard and films of that nature. And the next film I've got here, and this is actually one that's curiously, it's not despite being a film from the 80s, it's not really a film that I grew up watching. I don't have much nostalgia for this film. I have seen bits and pieces of this film when I was young, but I don't think I ever saw it fully. I was always aware of the film, but for whatever reason I never got to really experience it in full. I just never got the chance to. I don't know why, because the film does look cool, and it's very much in that sort of 80s style of animation as well. You know what I'm talking about. It's sort of like, it's got that Last Unicorn vibe to it, where it's like, it's sort of made for kids, but it's also quite dark and scary as well. And the film I'm talking about is The Secret of Nim. So yeah, I felt the need to pick this one up because it just got a recent new edition from the the Masters of Cinema label series, and it just made me think I want to check this film out fully. Because like I say, I don't believe I've seen this film in complete. I've seen bits of it for sure, but maybe I did see it when I was a kid. I think I might have seen it at school when I was in primary school. I think they might have shown it, but I can't really remember it, to be honest. All I know, I remember is something about, like, it was a mum. She's like a mouse. I think she's looking for her kids or something. I could be wrong. But in any case, it's a well-regarded film by most people that have seen it. It's one of those films that has endured sort of like in the pop culture. But for me, like, it's always been one of those films that I've always known about it, just never got around to watching. So yeah, looking forward to checking that one out. And the next bunch of Blu-rays here, they're all connected because they're all sit around one series, and it's one of my favourite series that I grew up watching here in the UK. It's a well-regarded comedy series in the UK, and I just sort of decided to check out some of the later seasons that I had not really watched. But I also decided to upgrade my DVD copies of the OG series, the first 8 seasons, And what I did pick up, of course, is a Red Dwarf. So this is the complete series 1 to 8. So this is what I will call the OG series. And the reason why I call it the OG series is because this was basically made, you know, during its initial run, you know, before there was like a long sort of gap. And then they decided to bring the show back, because the show basically ended with Series 8, and then many years later they brought the show back, brought back the original actors, you know, even though they're much older, to carry on the show, which I'm about to get into. So this is the original show, so it's an upgrade from my DVD copies, and I absolutely love Red Dwarf. I watch it as much as I can. It's just, for me, it's just one of the best of the UK comedy scene. If you've not seen Red Dwarf, definitely give it a chance. It's sort of very science fiction based, but comedic, and it takes a lot of influence from films like Aliens in terms of the set design and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely worth a watch. So basically, what made me sort of start picking up, I should say, it was all Red Dwarf, but essentially I was going through a bit of a Red Dwarf phase. I started watching season 10, which is one of the newest series. It was on streaming, decided to watch it, but they didn't have some of the other later series to watch. So I decided to go out and pick them up. So of course, after watching season 10, I did pick up season 11. So I'm looking forward to giving that a watch. I think I might have seen the odd episode, but I've definitely not seen it through. So this is basically the revival of it. It's currently up to season 12. So yeah, so I just, you know, I enjoyed season 10. I thought it was good. You know, I mean, some people might say that it's not quite as good as the early years, but I still found it funny. I still enjoyed it. The characters still have their chemistry. So I'm looking forward to checking out season 11. And of course, I had to pick up season 12 as well. So again, looking forward to checking this one out. I'm pretty sure I've not watched this at all, so I'm looking forward to giving that a watch. And I also picked up Red Dwarf: The Promised Land, and this is actually one of the. It was like a one-off special, so it actually takes place between the seasons. I don't remember what seasons it takes place in, so I decided to pick it up as well. It was very cheap, so I decided to pick that one up as well. There are two more. Of course, there's season 10, which I need to pick up. I didn't pick it up just because I'd recently watched it, so I thought I was in no rush to watch it again. And there's also another sort of one-off special, which is called, I believe it's called Back to Earth, which is set between, it's basically season 9, but it's a one-off, so it's set between season 9 and 10. And I will be picking that up as well. But yeah, I absolutely adore Red Dwarf. Yeah, just a fantastic show. I do go through these sort of phases where I'll just sort of like stick to one thing, like, and I'll just binge it, you know. I do that at times, so whether it be games or movies or whatever. I just do that at times. So I was in a very Red Dwarf sort of mood, and yeah, and I just love them. They always make me laugh. But anyway, moving on from that, guys, we're gonna go on straight to some video games here. And the first game I'm about to show is just some stuff that I got from Red Arc Games. So obviously, you know, a lot of people that pre-order stuff, you know, a lot of times a year in advance, you know, way down the line, and sometimes you just get a bundle of stuff that just show up at the same time. So I had a bunch of games show up from Red Arc Games. I've actually got some stuff from Limited Run, which should be showing up any day now as well, so that would be cool. So I've actually got 3 titles here from Red Arc Games, and they all came separately. They didn't actually come bundled as one. They just sort of, one showed up, then about a week later the other one showed up, and so forth. So the first one that did show up was Goblin Slayer. So this is the deluxe edition. So this is exclusive to the Red Arc's website. You can buy this at retail. So just to let you know, guys, most of these games can be bought at retail, but certain editions can only be bought from their website. So like, this is the deluxe edition, which just basically means that it gets an exclusive slipcover and some extra goodies. So this game is a tactical RPG, so a strategy RPG, which is basically my kind of RPGs, the ones that I sort of tend to enjoy. You know, like your Fire Emblems and Advance Wars, that kind of style, the grid-like style. So the reason why I wanted to pick this one up was because of the IP itself. I'm actually familiar with Goblin Slayer. It's based on an anime, which I do own. So I thought I would check it out. and I did like the visual style to it. The graphics look very interesting to me, so I thought, why not? It's you know, while I'm trying to avoid getting into too many RPGs just because they take up so much time, and obviously with the backlog, you know, there's not a lot of time in the day to play a lot of these games. So I try to avoid RPGs as much as I can, but sometimes they do come, you get these games that do sort of pique my interest, whether it's the graphics or the style of game or something about it that just interests me, so then I have to pick it up. So I got this, and it also came with the CD soundtrack as well, which is one of the bonus goodies it came with, so that was nice, and at no extra cost either. So it's basically the cost of a regular edition. So if you get it from the website and you get it early, you get like these sort of pre-order bonuses as well. The next game I got here, and this is actually quite an interesting one, and this is called Brock the Investigator. And this is a really cool game. I played the demo of this first because I wasn't too sure if I was going to like this game or not. But I gave the demo a go, quite enjoyed it, so when the chance came to pick this up, I jumped on it. Again, this is the Deluxe edition, and essentially what this game is basically a hybrid of a side-scrolling beat-em-up with a point-and-click game. So it's basically a detective game where you play this sort of humanoid crocodile character who has to basically solve a mystery. And while you know, it does the usual point and click style of, you know, you have to hover the icon over an item, and then you investigate the items, all very typical point and click style. But then it will go on to these sections where it's just a straight up side scrolling beat 'em up. You go onto the streets and you just take out bad guys in the typical 2D side scrolling fashion, and it plays well. Graphically it's very nice. And I like the idea of the hybrid because I do, well, you know me guys, I'm very much into my side-scrolling beat-em-ups, but I am trying to get into some games, and some of the games I'm trying to get into is point and clicks. I do play a few. So this just seemed like a really nice and interesting game to me, and like I say, I did like the visual style to it as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. And the next one I got here, and I'm trying to make sure I pronounce this right, is Triggerheart Exelic. Again, this is the Deluxe edition, and this is basically a shooter, a bullet hell style shooter. And I think what appealed to me about this game is basically the visual style of it. I like the character designs. Reminds me a lot of anime that I used to watch in the early 90s and late 80s, which is probably the appeal to me because bullet hells aren't really my thing. Not that I'm sort of big into shooters in general. I'm very much a casual when it comes to shooters. But I just like the visual style of this one, and sometimes that supersedes a lot of things for me. Like if it's a genre that I enjoy, or that I have some passing interest in, but it has a very cool, unique visual look to it, that will usually be enough to hook me. And I've heard good things about this game, so yeah, glad to pick this one up as well. And yeah, this is the Deluxe edition, so it just basically has a slipcover as well. Okay, so moving on from those guys, I also picked up a few games, and these were games that I got during the Christmas period. So basically, I treated myself to some games over Christmas, and I've got 3 Switch games here and 2 PS5 games. So starting with the Switch games, I picked up the double game, which was the Retro Realms double feature Halloween and Ash Evil Dead. So this is basically on a bit of a sale, so I thought I'd pick it up. This actually looks really good to me. So it's 2 individual games that are both sort of 16-bit style side-scrolling platformers. One game you control Mike Myers, and the other one you're Ash from Evil Dead. It looks very good. Just really did appeal to me. I was always planning to pick this game up, so I thought I'd pick it up while it was on the sale. The next game again I picked up here. This is a game that I was sort of holding off for it to go down to like a cheap price, and it eventually did. So I picked it up for less than £20. I think I paid like 18 quid for it, and that was Euphoria II. So this is basically the sequel to like a NES game. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer, cutesy style platformer. It's just one I've looked at for a long time. I actually think it looks really good. I was actually watching a video with Pink Door, he did a gameplay of this, and he actually thought the game was pretty mid. The music seemed great, but he said the game itself was like nothing special. He just said it was like just sort of, it's cutesy, it's got great music, but he thought in terms of what it adds as a game, he thought it wasn't nothing special. So that's basically what, you know, made me sort of wait. And this game was sort of fluctuating in price on Amazon. It was, at one point it was like up to 30 quid, and it dropped down to like 25, and it would drop down to 18, then it went back up to 25, then it went back up to 30, and when I saw it go back down to 18, I just basically nabbed it, because it was one of those games that just interested me, and it's a Sunsoft game as well. So yeah, looking forward to checking it out. And the next game I got here, and again, I bought this simply because while it was a game that interested me, I wasn't willing to pay full price on it. So I jumped on it as soon as I saw it on sale, and that was Karate Kid Street Rumble. So if you don't know, guys, this is basically a side-scrolling beat 'em up featuring the characters of the Karate Kid. But this is not based on Cobra Kai, this is based around the original trilogy of films. I gotta be honest with you, the gameplay I've seen of this, the footage I've seen of this, I'm not that impressed. But it's Karate Kid, so it did interest me. And I paid 16 quid for this, so I felt that was probably worth a punt. But I'm not expecting it to be that good. So hopefully I'll get some enjoyment out of it, but I'll be honest with you, I wasn't that impressed by it. And finally, the two games here I picked up for the PlayStation 5, and these were two games that I've been wanting to get for a while, and I was hoping for them to drop in price, but they took a long time, but eventually they dropped to a price that I was willing to pay for it. And the first one I got here is Star Wars Outlaws. So this is basically an open world Star Wars game, a sandbox game in the style of like GTA, but in the Star Wars universe. This game has gotten a lot of mixed reviews, and when it initially came out, it was quite broken, but apparently they have patched it up a bit. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I'm a fan of open world sandbox games, so this was always going to appeal to me. But I was just waiting for it for a price drop, and it finally dropped to a price I was willing to pay. So I am looking forward to playing this. I actually recently, not that long ago, I played through Jedi Survivor, which is a much more linear experience, but it does have open world segments, and I really enjoyed that game. I love the Jedi games, Jedi Survivor and Jedi. Oh, my mind went blank. But that's the first game that came out, and I really enjoyed both of them. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. Hopefully, it has a good, compelling story. I heard that some of the missions were a little bit repetitive, and of course, you know, this being a Ubisoft game as well, like there is added DLC missions that you have to pay separately. So if I enjoy the game, I will probably pay for the added missions if I do enjoy the game. But I'm expecting it to be semi-decent, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. The footage I've seen looks good, but the reviews of it have been pretty mixed. And finally, the last game I've got, and this is one I've been meaning to get for a while, and I was taking my time for picking it up, but I decided to pull the trigger on it now, and that is Contra, Operation Guga. Now, you know me, guys, I'm a huge fan of Contra. I'm a massive fan of Contra, and I have to admit, when they first showed off this game, I was a little bit disappointed. I didn't really like the graphical style of it, and when I actually played the demo, I played the demo on the Switch, and I was not impressed. It is a 2D, you know, action run and gun game, but I just found the controls to be a little bit off to me. It didn't really play quite right for me, and I was hearing a lot of things about the Switch version, because that was the version I was going to go for, but I heard it had a lot of technical issues. So I thought, why not? I'll just go for the PS5 version. Now, I did think about going for some of these deluxe editions. I know the Japanese got a really cool deluxe set, but to be honest with you, like, this game, you know, wasn't really like giving me that level of excitement that I wanted from it. So I just settled on a standard copy. But you know, I have played a bit of it, and I do enjoy it, but I don't like it as much as earlier games. For me, it still doesn't play quite right to me. and the visual style just is a bit bland in my opinion. But it's still Contra. I'm always willing to give these games a chance because you never know. I mean, at least it's a 2D side-scrolling game, which is really what the series should always be. But you know, we'll see. I've like I said, I've only played a little bit of it, but you know, hopefully I'll warm up to it a lot more. So that is it, guys. That's basically my pickups that I got in and around sort of December time, late December and early January. I will be back hopefully with another video. I'll be doing another Blu-ray pickups video, just some Blu-rays that I picked up throughout last year. I thought I'll do that just because it's a lot of like interesting films and stuff to show that I think are worth talking about. But aside from that, guys, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I always appreciate you guys watching and interacting with me. It's always welcome when people interact with me as well. And yeah, so again, guys, Happy New Year. I'll see you again next time.